Mr. Iacobucci, such a pleasure to meet you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Ready to do the interview?
I'm ready, yeah.
Perfect,
Absolutely.
all right.
Look forward to it. I was born the third of four children. During the Depression, I'm an old guy, in 1937, and life was tough. When Italy joined the war with the Germans in 1940, it became even tougher. Because my parents were enemy aliens, and I was obviously, I guess, an enemy alien. My father lost his job at the airport. My older brother's father-in-law was interned in Petawawa for 2.5 years. Having said all that, my childhood, we were poor, but we were happy. We had goats, chickens, rabbits in the backyard, which my father looked after, and a garden. Yes, happy memories from my childhood, but a lot of challenges. I worked alongside my father later on in life. When I was a high school student and first year university, he worked in a steel foundry, a very tough job. He was my boss, and he worked me very hard because I was his son, no favorites. It was not a trigger, working with my father in the foundry, it was a confirmation that I said, apparently I said this at a younger age. I said, I want to work with my brain, not my body. In grade 6, I went to an elementary school in the East End of Vancouver. There was a little ceremony for the grade 6 students. At that ceremony, the principal said a couple of words about each of us graduating from grade 6, leaving the school. And Mr. Smith was the principal. He said about me, here's Frank Iacobucci, a great talker. He could be the next Angelo Branca. I had no idea what he was talking about. I went home that night, or that afternoon, and evening. I asked my father, Dad, who's Angelo Branca? I thought he was a football player. So when I asked my father who was Angelo Branca, he said, oh, he's un gran avvocato, a big lawyer, and he was very distinguished criminal lawyer. And later became a judge, later became on the BC, British Columbia Court of Appeal. So very prominent and very successful. That was a seed that was planted in my mind about the law. I met my wife in England, also a lawyer from the States, most distinguished, has a far better background than mine. So we met and married in the US, went to New York law firms, Wall Street law firms, big firms. And from there, we had our first child and then came to Toronto. I joined the Faculty of Law at the University of Toronto. I was there about 19 years. So I practiced law, I taught law. Then I went to the Justice Department in the University of Toronto, Dean of the Law School, Vice President Academic. Then I went as Deputy Minister of Justice in the Federal Department of Justice. Then became a judge. I was Chief Justice of the Federal Court, and then I was on the Supreme Court of Canada. I have to say, I am doing a lot of work in the Indigenous world. I have spent a lot of time since leaving the court. I was involved with it in Deputy Minister of Justice. I didn't do anything with it when I was a professor, because I taught other subjects. The greatest number of cases we had in the courts, and the federal government is the greatest litigator in Canada. We're with Indigenous people. And when I left the court, we had a lot of cases there. I said, maybe I could do something in this area. We need, as Canadians, to confront our past, our history of mistreatment, abuse, and just do what we can to improve the relationship. It's the most important societal issue facing Canada. We have to do all we can to improve the relationship with Indigenous people.
Mr. Iacobucci, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're most welcome. Hope
Such
it
a
works out.
pleasure.